Hey, what's going on, everybody? So it's finally getting some rain, some serious rain. Man, we needed it. It was like smoking hot over the weekend, and I was working out in the woods, and it was just you talk about sopping wet, man. I mean, I was sweating buckets, but it's good for you. And so anyway, so now it's just like pouring down rain, which is great because man, we really needed it. And but I don't know. There's so much to talk about, but there's not so much to talk about. Because I just feel like we rehash the same stuff over and over again. John Thune and the weak, feckless cowards in the Senate, and the idiots that we have. Well, actually, the idiots that we have in both houses, on both parties. I mean, there's just not a win-win for the American people. There just isn't. I mean, we win an argument here and there, but that's the gist of it. We never really win the battle. We win an argument, and that's the frustrating thing with society today, and especially here in the United States. And I'm just sick of seeing all these immigrants running around thinking they're owed this, they're owed that, and blacks running around thinking that we built America when, if you're an educated person, that's not true. Blacks did not build America. And you got these guys, saying, oh, look how, if it wasn't for America or it wasn't for the blacks, America would be nothing. And then all you have to do is look across the pond and look at the continent of Africa. If blacks were so intelligent, they would have exceeded European culture, but that's not the case, and it's still not the case to this day. They're still living in mud huts, drinking cow and camel piss, pardon my French, and and killing each other like there's no tomorrow. So I don't know. It's just it's a crazy world that we live in, and I certainly don't see it getting any better. Certainly not for Europe. You got guys running around stabbing women, immigrants, and in my native country, it's just drugs are just rampant, and you've got their version of the Democrats in Germany and in Europe, and it's just how ignorant and blind they are. It's just sickening. It's almost it feels demonic. That people can be that dumb and gullible and ignorant and stupid and naive, and I mean, go on and on and on. It's just like what's and then Christianity is just like either it's growing or it's not growing. And in the Muslim religion, it's not growing. What's happening is they're just popping out more babies. The religion itself is not growing. They're just pumping out babies like rabbits. And whereas educated people, Europeans and here in the States, they're having maybe one or two kids or none at all. And the Muslims are having 2 and 3 wives, and they're begging their cousins, first and second cousins, even their sisters, and they're popping out these inbred children like it's unbelievable. I mean, don't take my word for it. I mean, there's tons of guys on YouTube and other social media platforms that show this stuff. So it's it's not a lie. It's out there, and it's just beyond me that people are just accepting this and going, oh yeah, this is great for our culture. You got the King of England saying how Muslims have done so much for Europe. Man, where's he coming from? I saw a Muslim dude. Pardon the graphics, but he murdered a child by stepping on the child's neck and throat till the child suffocated. And this child was probably, I'd say, 2 to 4 years old. And Islam is just, it's just terrible. Another video I saw, these imams had these children tied up to these posts, and they were beating them with sticks because they weren't catching on to the Quran, and they weren't learning the verses fast enough. They weren't reciting them fast enough, and they were being beat for it. And there's so much going on that if you don't do your own research, look it up for yourself, and you sit there and you just follow mainstream media, you'll never see any of that, because they won't show you that, and they do that on purpose. They want to keep you ignorant and blind. And something else I saw was somebody picked, I don't know, some derelict who claimed to be a MAGA supporter, just spouting off on some idiocy, and they're like, well, yeah, looky there, there's your MAGA movement right there. No, you can't pick some jerkweed and go, yeah, he represents the MAGA movement, the Make America Great. It's that guy doesn't represent anybody but himself. And just like you can't throw the whole Democratic Party under the bus, because there are some Democrats that don't believe in this nonsense, but because they have that label and they're surrounded by these whack jobs, they don't have enough backbone to speak out against it. So they just shut up and don't say anything. And that makes you just as guilty. You didn't have to commit the murder, you just had to sit in the driver's seat and be the getaway driver. Makes you just as guilty. Anyway, so this is a longer video than I normally do. My longer videos, for some reason, they never do very well. Maybe that's just how it goes on this platform. Seems like if I do a short and I use a little AI and that sort of thing, that seems to do better than some of my longer videos, and so that's why I don't make a lot of them. But there's that's my channel though. It's just to talk about these things, and you want to have a conversation. I like to do a podcast, but I don't have the time and the a studio. It's certainly not the editing capability to put a decent podcast together. Because I think there's a lot of people that feel the same way that I do, but they just don't have an outlet to get together and voice those. So you just do little snippets here and there, and there's some really good channels on here. I've discovered some new ones here lately that I'm just flabbergasted. That they're on YouTube. They're permitted to say some of the things that they say on YouTube, which again, I'm just kind of flabbergasted by it. But hey, that's their channel, and you know what? They say some of the most racist things, and they have such a huge following. I don't say any of those things. Certainly not to the extreme that these guys do it. And bless the 255, I think, or 56 followers I do have. These guys have got thousands and thousands, and it's just like, man. It's obvious I'm not getting out there like those guys are. But it's like, I don't want to be a hater and a Debbie Downer kind of thing. But what you see going on in the world today, how can you ignore it? I'm in my mid 50s, and I've been carrying a gun for going on 36 years every day. It's right here. It's right next to me. And I lift weights like a crazy man. I probably shouldn't do what I do at my age, but My doctor seems to think I'm doing fine, and like my blood pressure was like 111/63, and I'm just enjoying myself. I've been following a couple of pastors on YouTube that really talk about what it means to be man-like, but yet be a Christian. You're not giving up your man card when you're a Christian. And a lot of guys give up their man card when they decide to become a Christian. It's like, I can't do that. I can't say this. And, that's not, yada, yada. And I'm thinking to myself, man, you people you talk about weak. That's a problem. I mean, so many men are so sissified today. And they won't stand up for anybody, much less themselves. And they run around and cower behind their wives, or they just walk off and ignore it, instead of standing up and knocking someone's block off if the situation warrants such an action. But I don't know. I mean, I'm 11 minutes into this, and like I said, I normally don't do longer videos. I try to keep them short. I just don't get that many hits on anything over 3 minutes. But I don't know. Let me know what you think of this longer video. I'm not even sure what to title it, other than I don't know, call it my truck talk drive home. I don't know. It's just the thoughts for the day. Had a good day today for a Monday, and finally got some rain. I don't think it's enough. We could certainly use some more. But anyway, hey, thanks for tuning in to those that do tune in. And there's a lot of people that do watch that don't subscribe, and I really would appreciate it if you did. I mean, give me a thumbs up. I mean, that goes a long way too, and that doesn't cost you a dime, and it's just a simple click with your mouse, and that helps with the whole algorithm thing on YouTube. And if you could do that for me, I would be grateful. Even if you just did it the one time, and you never came back, I would be happy for the one thumbs up and a share. I think that would be something to be grateful for. So I would be. So anyway, so thanks for watching and listening to me ramble. I wish there were more people that would voice their opinion, and please leave a comment. I'd like to know if there's other people besides me that think the same way, or don't, and if you don't, why. So anyway, thanks for watching. Please like and subscribe, again, and I'll see you on the next one.